Hello and welcome to Rock Your Block. I am your host, Tia Young. Today our special guest is going to share with us how to get you off to a great start in college this coming fall. Our guest retired after 33 years in federal government and 9 years in the Arlington County School System Adult Education Program. She has broad experience in human resources, executive development, management development and training, counseling, and security. She is a certified instructor of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Our guest is currently launching a life skills training program called Changing Perspectives. She has a BS degree in psychology from Salem University, Salem, West Virginia, and a Master of Science degree in Human Resources Administration, Central Michigan University in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Please welcome Rosalee Townsend to Rock Your Block. Rosalee, so good to see you.
Thank you, Tia. How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, you know, before we begin our conversation today, I just want to congratulate all of the high school and college graduates, as well as commending those who have decided to continue, a career in college. Would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, I think it's absolutely wonderful, and it's extremely valuable that they have decided to add another facet and another milestone in their lives. Because you see, I think so. I read something that Bill Gates wrote that said that in 2020, almost every job that would be coming down the pike would require that folks would have to have a post-high school education. Mm-hmm. So they are really on the mark, right, making the decision to move forward with a college education.
Right. Well, I know that you just created a new PowerPoint presentation, and I read it, and it is really good. And so I want to compliment you on that, and our audience will be able to see that as we are talking today. One of the things I noticed that you emphasized in your presentation, your PowerPoint presentation, is you matters being you matter. What does that mean?
What it means is that in much of what I've dealt with in terms of education, I found that many of the students who are getting prepared to go to college, one of the things that somehow we have failed to emphasize just how important it is for our students to realize that they matter. They realize that it's important for them to get good grades. They realize that it's important for them to kind of hone in on a decent career field, I would say, but they don't realize how important they are. Right. They personally are. And one of the areas that I think we should really give a little bit of thought to is where they have them give some thought to how they fit into the scheme of things. Right. And up to this point, they have been so busy meeting all the goals and checking all the boxes, essentially. Right. To meet the goals, to get into school, to get into all of the things that society has said they have to do. Right. They really haven't spent much time realizing who they are, right, what's important to them. Right. And as they move into this whole college environment, the college environment is a very interesting environment. It is a dynamic environment that is specifically designed for it's designed for them to learn and grow, for enhancement of the individual. Right. And many of these students don't realize that. They think it's just the coursework and just they think in very limited terms. They don't have any idea that this whole college is a system of this whole environment is a system of processes and procedures and rules and regulations designed for their much greater growth. Right. And because they don't know that, they don't think along those lines.
What do you think some of that has to do with the fact that you know, they've been in very close circumstances with family and friends and
yes.
their churches and everything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
you know, your mommy's little baby, grandma,
Absolutely.
you know, and then
Yes.
when they go off to
Yes.
a university environment,
Yes.
it's all different.
Absolutely.
On that
And
end.
I'm going to share a quote from the Myers-Briggs company. Myers-Briggs is one of the leading companies in the personality type indicators in this country. And let me read this. In our fast changing world, your edge lies in harnessing 100% of your talent. Your talent, now not just your education, your talent, all of you, whether at home, work, school, or anywhere. Your success and sense of fulfillment, not just your success, sense of fulfillment, aren't just about what you know and what you can do. They hinge on your relationships and interactions with others. That's critical and important, and many of our students don't realize that. Many of our students aren't taught that. They are taught it in colleges. However, it's not. The colleges are designed to do that, and they do it. However, the students don't recognize it as what it is. So part of our goal is to start helping them understand the full scope of what they're getting in that package.
So it sounds to me like the students that start into college, that they're going to learn a lot more than just college coursework. Do you agree? Do you agree with that?
Yes, and part of what I am suggesting in this whole getting you off to a great start in college is I'm asking them to, I'm suggesting that it might be worthwhile in the short summer, to take a little bit of time to get to know something about themselves, what their true preferences are. Maybe take a personality assessment to find out what their personality preferences are. Why is it that I'm social or not so social? Why is it that I like certain things that you don't like? You know, in the whole scheme of things, we're all more alike than we are unalike. But our students don't know that. And they need to know that there are such things as personality preferences, personality differences. They need to know. And why is that important? It's about safety, security, and comfort. Right. When they go into a college environment that is specifically designed for their growth, their enhancement, their enrichment, and they don't understand what's happening to them.
Do parents have a role in helping their children find themselves? Because sometimes I think as parents, you don't even realize until they're almost ready to go to college that maybe you babied them a little bit too much, or you haven't, you know, kind of let them find out who they are.
I try to stay away from some of that because I hesitate to go into the blame game.
Right. Well, it's not blaming, but I'm saying
and the reason I stay away from that because some parents haven't had that exposure themselves.
That's true.
You know, in recent years, many of us are starting to learn. We're learning who we are ourselves. Yeah. And in many families, you have some who are just first generation college educated, who have not had the background and the exposure. So as a society, as people are starting to get more and more involved and more educated, and learning that, oh, if I knew this, and the reason I'm saying some of the things I'm saying is that we have I'll speak in the minority society, we have a larger rate of students who don't stay in college. They're not able to sustain, and some of it is financial, but a lot of it is cultural. And I've looked over some of the studies. Some of the studies show that there was confusion and misunderstanding and just chaos around the fact that they didn't know who they were. They didn't understand themselves. And part of what I'm saying in this presentation is if we took the time to help them have some safety, some security, some comfort in understanding themselves, who they are, how they present in the world.
Right.
It would make a difference when they go into an environment that is designed to help them grow and get enhanced and get enriched. It will, when they know where they are and why they are where they are, it would make a difference. It wouldn't confuse them so.
Right.
It
And
wouldn't throw them off track so.
What about?
Let me share something.
Okay.
There's a book that I'm going to be recommending, and this man, his name is Nicholas Boothman, and it's a short book, and it's How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less. And what I like about it is that it's a brief book, but what this man has done, and it's a book that's just been around, made a lot of money. He's spoken to colleges, universities, to a lot of senior executives and corporations. So this man has been in many high places, and many important people have listened to his message. But the messages are very simple, but it's all in communication, the importance of communication, all the tips and techniques on all the facets of communications that matter. And we don't teach our children that. Our kids are not understanding that. So they may learn what they learn in their coursework, but the actual techniques to how they get what they want it's being left off the grid. And the colleges are giving them the information. They are giving it in let me put it this way, in almost every class, in any college or any university that you attend, you end up having to do partnerships, you have to work with a partner, you have to work with teams, you have to develop projects collaboratively with more than one person. Those are communication skills that they are being taught.
Right.
And
we're going to take a short break, and then we'll pick right back up with that thought.
Okay.
So we'll return after these important messages.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
For those of you who are just joining us, our special guest today is Rosalee Townsend, training consultant and life skills coach for Changing Perspectives. Rosalee, prior to the break, we were talking about personal time and the young people focusing on their goals. Can you finish up on that, please?
Yes, I wanted to reiterate that many of these students have never had the time to honestly think about their personal preferences, what they want, and how what they do or don't do will impact their plans.
Yes.
This is important for them to understand because it will make a difference in the outcome of what they accomplish.
Right. I agree. I totally agree with that. Rosalee, what about fear of mistakes and failures? What would be your advice to students? Because I think a lot of young people, they have a facade of one thing, but deep down is a lot of fear about failing. What do you say?
I'd like for them to relax. Everyone,
Yeah.
and I repeat, everyone makes mistakes,
Yes.
and everyone fails at something. Most mistakes can be corrected or remediated in some way. A failure does not mean defeat. And a failure simply means that there's more work to be done to get stronger
Right.
in whatever area it is. We must start training ourselves to be willing to keep working at whatever it is that we think is important enough to work on. We must also train ourselves to realize that what may seem like a failure or a loss, if we're willing to keep working at it, can ultimately end up being a blessing or a win.
Right.
And we've got a lot of examples of folks who have been extremely successful to prove that.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right.
And the issue here is to repeat that to our students over and over. They need to hear it, and they need to get that internalized. They need to hear it and take it to heart.
To heart. Why are attitude and behavior so important to a new college student?
Attitudes and behaviors are magnifiers of your character. Whether we like it or not, what we are on the inside gets broadcast to the world through our attitudes and behaviors. Knowing how you're presenting yourself to the world is very important information for you to know, so that you can, because it gives you the power to make changes. If you have a habit or a particular attitude or behavior that you realize is not serving you well.
Right.
And it gives you the power to change that.
Right. Can you give an example of maybe an attitude that might not serve you well in college?
For students who are freshmen in particular, a lot of habits are habits that they have done at home, in a home environment where they've been protected by family members. And a bad attitude, people have just kind of let pass. But in what you learn in the college environment is that the bad attitudes are not tolerated, and they're not given a pass.
Right.
So as you read the books like Nicholas Boothman's book and others, you begin to realize that nobody has time. They don't give you the time. They don't give you the pass. So you end up costing yourself unnecessarily. And once you know that, if you know that, you have the power to make the change.
To make the change. That's good.
And it gives, what we're doing is empowering our students to know what they can do to take care of themselves.
Right. Talk to us a little bit about the essential college knapsack.
Well,
I like that name. That's cute.
It's just, the essential college knapsack is just simply a recognition that actually in college, any college that you attend is going to give you a long list of all of the utensils and the supplies that you need to bring to the college. I just thought that there'd be a few other things that would add to your comfort, things that kind of satisfied your spiritual needs. I'm a Christian, so I thought a Holy Bible, a large print Holy Bible, because in the instances where you're tired, you need the Word, and you need the Word fast, but you don't want the little teeny tiny script where you can't read it. You need it now. So I suggested a large print Bible, but whatever your spiritual connection is, bring that. Whatever your deeply personal relationships are, if it's your parents, if it's your dear, dear friends, if it's your grandparents, bring pictures of those people. Your inspirational connections. If there are quotes, if there are visions of things that you think, whatever you have that has meaning to you personally, bring it. If you have, there are things that I always think that everyone should have something in their home or in their room that they have made. You took the time to create it. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be magnificent, something that you have taken the time to, you created it. It's always uplifting for you. And then I thought you might need something that could help you in your as you had to create things around in your life in college. And I thought a tool, a tool that wasn't too big, wasn't too cumbersome, but could help you out. It's called Kelvin 23. And this little tool is supposed to have, does have 23 tools. It's got a tape measure, a hammer, a level, magnets, it's got screwdrivers, it's got a whole series of tools that the average kinds of things that you're going to need. So I thought it would be a worthwhile kind of tool to have. So it doesn't take up much space.
Flashlight.
It's got a flashlight, doesn't take up much space. It's got magnets. And when you're trying to put together furniture for your dorm or hang up pictures and that kind of thing, it could be very useful. So that was the.
I could use one of those myself.
And it's got a 10-year warranty. It's got pictures in here, and online. You go online, and it'll tell you all the uses for it. It's called the Kelvin 23. So that was kind of what I thought we could add to the long list of things that the college is telling you to bring.
That's really neat. I could use that. What is it?
Kelvin
23. I could use that.
Yes.
Now, Rosalee, we have just a few minutes left. Well, I guess we got about 5 minutes. So I saved this question for last because I really wanted you to expound on it, unless you have something else there that you want to cover that you didn't cover.
Well, one of the things let me give you the three most important things that I want to say is that you are important and you matter. And very often our students go off to school feeling really proud of themselves because they have done magnificently well in school, and they really have.
Yes.
However, they haven't realized that separate and apart from what they've done, their accomplishments in school, they as individuals are important.
Right.
They as individuals are respected and valued.
Right.
They were selected at that college as individuals. That college is proud of them because of who they are as individuals. They need to know that. They need to know that. That needs to be internalized for them. They need to take the time, a few minutes, to get to know who they are, what their preferences are, so that they know how to orient in the world, and how they want to make decisions. It will impact their decisions. Knowing their personality type, knowing how their learning style will make all the difference in the world. Knowing that they can change, knowing their attitudes and behaviors, and knowing that they can change them. They have the power to change them. Will make a difference. Knowing also, and that those things will have lasting good and bad impressions that will transcend their grades.
Right.
They need to know that.
They need to know that.
They need
yes.
to know that.
Yes.
And also, they need to know that that whole experience in college is not just about the grades. That college experience is going to help them develop the resilience that they're going to need to learn for maturity, that they are growing. It's a growing environment. And that communications and relationship building is critical in their lives, not just for college. It's for every other facet of their lives.
Right.
And they need to take it seriously, and they need to welcome it.
Right.
A lot of folks run from it.
That's true. I would ask, we have about 2 minutes left, if a student practices what we have talked about, what you have shared with us today, and they still find themselves in a mode of maybe becoming depressed, what would you recommend that they do?
I'm going to say that anybody can get depressed.
Right, that's true.
Anybody can get depressed. But everybody should know that there are ways to address everything. There are ways. And there are people that you could, as as I've talked about these things, there are counselors, there are people in your school. The relationships that I'm talking about include people who can guide us and who can help us. And I'm not leaving out the clergy, and I'm not leaving out all of the schools. And I did not get to say, but I think I may have mentioned it in the paper, that they have the school has counselors. The schools do provide people who are there to guide you and to stand by you. You're never left alone.
So that's the key, that they're never alone.
You're
There's
never left
always
alone.
somebody
Oh no,
there.
you're always, from the moment you start college, you are welcomed and you feel the love. You know that, and you are valued, and you know that you are wanted there. So.
So that works out. Rosalee,
Yes.
I am, so we're just about out of time. I am so thankful and happy that you had the time, that you took the time to come here and spend with us today. And this is a really important subject. Thank you so much.
I wish everyone who's going to college, I wish you well. And I hope you will take the time to invest in yourself. You will not regret it. You will not.
Thank you so much. Listen, folks, going to college is a big deal, whether you are 18 or 65 years old. The tips that our guest, Rosalee Townsend, shared with you today will help you navigate this new environment. Trust me, it is very different from what one might expect. If you have any questions, please give Rosalee a call, and she can go into detail with you on what and what not to do while navigating through this new and exciting 4-year journey. Thank you for watching Rock Your Block, and do join us next week for another great show. I'm Tia Young, wishing you a fantastic week. Bye-bye.